There is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb and welcome to Many Poly. In this tutorial what we have here is we have a pretty chaotic module at first, but once you start breaking apart how this module works, it will become a very simple module to actually do. So the reason why I'm not selecting it currently is because when I select it, we're going to get a lot of sounds from this module. A lot's going to be happening here. So what's actually happening in this module is there's going to be a series of 5 sounds that will play when you select the module. And each sound corresponds to one of the colors buttons on the module, which in this case, each of them correspond to an instrument on the right side over here. So if we take a look at the colors of the question marks here, we've got a dark green, which is a kick drum. We've got this sort of reddish orange color, which is the hi-hat. We've got sort of a lime color, which is a triangle. We have a pink, which is a castanets, and we've got a sort of very dark blue, which is a steel drum. So each of these instruments are going to be what's appearing on the module. And if we take a listen, all of these sounds are appearing. Some quieter than others. Hi-hat is sort of that little sound. A kick drum is a sort of deep bass. Like that right there. And the castanets are the one that are occurring constantly. It's sort of like this little almost clapping sound, but the clap is different from the castanets. That steel drum, it sort of gives like a, I don't know, like almost a Hawaiian vibe in a way, maybe, would be the best way to describe it for me. And then the triangle is that little ding sound, like that little ding that's occurring right there. And just like that, those give you an idea of what the sounds are like. Now, with this module, it is a little bit tricky to learn how the sounds work, but for the most part, you can kind of differentiate just from the basic knowledge of a couple of them. So just bear in mind that that's what's going to be happening here. So our goal with this module is there is a loop that is going to be occurring at a random length of time. It will restart once all 5 sounds play at the exact same time, or in this case simultaneously. So what we need to do is we now need to determine how often each number occurs. In this case, that's going to be representing the sound's frequency. And now what we need to do is submit those into the module. All 5 of them need to be correct. So that's what's going to be happening with this module. This module is a very tricky module to do, but once you understand it, like I said beforehand, it will become a lot easier. So how does the module generate? And for the most part, this really won't be that relevant, but there are 3 rules that I feel obligated to cover, just for the sake of this tutorial. So 3 of the frequencies are going to be co-prime integers. In this case, these are going to be the ones that occur much less than the other 2. 3 of the frequencies are co-prime integers within the range of 2 to 10 inclusively. So what exactly does co-prime mean for those of you who are not familiar with how that actually works? So let's take our numbers, for example, 2 and 3. And then let's also take a series of numbers of 4 and 6. It's kind of easy to compare these 2 numbers together. The factors of 2 are 1 and 2. It's a prime number. And the factors of 3 are 1 and 3. Or rather, I guess I should use 9. That would be a little bit of a better example. For the factors of 9 is 1, 3, 9. These don't share a factor, not including 1, of course. These factors do not share another factor that does not include 1. Therefore, these are co-prime to each other. However, with 4 and 6, you might be already seeing it. 1, 2, 4 for 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 6 for 6. These both share a factor of 2, therefore they are not co-prime. So for co-prime, they do not share an integer between each other. For the most part, though, I really wouldn't worry about these rules and just mainly focus on counting. That'll make life a lot easier. Oh, excuse me. Now, our next frequency, one of the frequencies shares a factor with exactly one of the previous 3 frequencies and lies in the range of 4 to 20 inclusively. So for example, if we had 2, 3, 5 for our last 3 numbers, we could have a 14 here, and this would only share a factor with the 2. It's divisible by 2, that's all we really care about, and 3 and 5 have no influence over this. And this would be exactly one of the previous 3 frequencies. There is not any other conclusive. It wouldn't be 18 because that would include both the 2 and the 3, because 3 times 6 is 18. That wouldn't work. And then finally, the 5th frequency is the big boy, and you'll notice this immediately which one this 5th frequency is, because this is going to be the one that's going to be sort of constantly keeping that solid beat, basically. which in this case is the castanet. So the fifth frequency shares a factor with at least two other frequencies, two of the other four frequencies, and lies in the range of 30 to 60 inclusively. So this is a big boy, yep, as Eva just mentioned. It is within the range of 30 to 60, and it's going to be sharing factors with at least two of the other four frequencies. So this could potentially be a 42, for the sole reason of there is a factor of 7 times 2 in 14. 7 times 6 is 42. And then there is, of course, the factor of being divisible by 2 because it's an even number. So that would therefore work in this case. Okay, so let's get into the actual module itself. So as I'm going to be explaining this module is a little bit tricky to actually understand and sort of explain on the fly, but I'm going to need you guys to follow along a little bit with me when counting the instruments. And there is a way that I'm going to do this to make life a lot easier for all of you. So we're going to be using the arrows to submit the number, of course, obviously, when we get into the module. And the way that I do this module is when you have an answer, submit it. Because this module helps you. It's designed to help you to actually keep track of where the loop is if you start with one of the lower values, and I will show you exactly what happens when we simply submit one of these numbers into the module. It will make life a lot easier, trust me. So when you have an answer, submit it, because the way that the module works is once you submit an answer and it actually accepts the solution and it doesn't strike you, that means you know that you're good. It's not going to check your answer once all 5 are inputted into the module. If you have an answer, it is therefore good to go. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to start on the lower end of modules, a lower end of the instrument count. And then what we're going to do is we're going to solve the module. That's what we're going to do. So let's try and find our loop, because that's going to be easily the hardest part of this entire mod, is finding the loop and actually getting one of the sounds at least into the module. If we can get one sound into the module, we are pretty much golden, but it can be a little bit tricky to determine how we can actually figure this out. So first things first, we need to find a loop where the sounds are all playing at the exact same time, and let's try and find an instrument that is occurring significantly less than others. We can start with kick drum. Kick drum wouldn't be too bad of a start. Maybe even triangle wouldn't be too bad of a start either. So let's find our loop. Let's listen to the triangles. Okay, I believe that was it. 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe maybe that happened. I believe it was 5 for triangle. Let me double check that. That was it right there. 2, 3, 4, 5. That was it. Yep, that's definitely the beginning of the loop. So that's 5. So I was confident with that being 5. And now, as you can see, what's happening is this sort of the circle actually breaks apart and it splits the circle into whatever many portion it is. In this case, it's splitting it into fifths. And what's happening here is it's playing along. It's switching its portion when the triangle is actually playing. So this is exactly why I would highly recommend that you submit an answer, because this answer is completely correct. If I were to submit this into any other number, it would immediately give me a strike.
No, I can't accept it. I'm not persuaded.
So that's how you know that you're immediately correct, and this helps significantly with the module. So let's have a listen. Let's see if we can figure out anything else, and let's actually figure out which portion of the circle the loop is beginning at, so that we can make life a whole heck of a lot easier. And it appears to be a really fast loop too, so that's going to be interesting. So let's take a listen. I'm probably going to look for the kick drum next, or maybe even the steel drum wouldn't be too bad. Looks like it maybe was top right? I'm confident in that being top right for sure. That was definitely top right. Okay. Let's have a listen. I'm gonna take care of that little that sharp sort of steel drum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 7. And just like that, that's good to go. And now as you can see, the portion is significantly smaller than the 5, which in this case makes sense. 1/7 is much smaller than 1/5. And it's also still counting along with when the module is playing, or when the instrument is playing on the module. So that's why I would highly recommend that you focus on getting the smaller sounds first, because this is going to make life a lot easier, and also because they're kind of the trickier ones to actually hear. But once you figure out one of the trickier ones, it gets significantly easier to determine how the loop begins and how the loop ends. So let's have a listen. Hi-hat appears to be occurring a lot less too. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to say maybe 4. I'm going to double check that. It's that little that's going on in the background. Let's have a listen. 1. It's a bit hard to tell. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on, I'm going to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to say 4. Yeah, I think I'm confident with 4. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes I will be honest with you, sometimes it is a little bit tricky to tell, but for the most part, all you simply need to do is keep track of one individual cycle. If you're a little bit, if sometimes the sounds might not sound all of the simultaneously together, all you simply need to do is keep track of one cycle of one instrument, and then you should know that you're good. That's when you know a loop actually occurs. So, just bear in mind that sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to actually tell. And I'm willing to admit that this module itself is very tricky to tell. So let's have a listen. Let's see what we can do. We've got kick drum and castanets left. So let's take a listen. Let's see what we can do here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Counting kick drum. 5, 6, 7. Should be maybe 6. It doesn't make sense here. Hold on. I'm gonna double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 actually does make sense. I lied. 6 actually does make sense for the sole reason of these 4, 5, and 7 might be our three frequencies that are co-prime in the range. So in this case, 4, 5, 7, 2 of them are prime, and one of them is 1, 2, 4, and therefore they don't share any factors. Now, if we include the 6 for that kick drum in there, what's going to happen here is if we take a look at one of the frequencies, it does share a factor with one of the previous 3, which in this case, the 4 does share a factor because they both are divisible by 2. So therefore, 6 would potentially work because it's in the range of 4 to 20. That's what can make this module a little bit tricky, is because of the fact that there could be a little bit of an overlap within these two ranges that might be like, maybe not. So in this case, I do believe that kick drum is a 6, and indeed it is. So yeah, you gotta be careful sometimes with that module, and that's why it's important to sometimes know the generation rules, which are very easy to memorize, I should mention. And that's all you really need to pay attention to. For the most part, though, it will tend to be on the higher end, but in this case, as you can see, it can be a little bit tricky and sometimes actually sneak in this 2 to 10 range and might be disguised as sort of this, I'm co-prime and whatnot. So that's what the module does. So now let's count the big boy. Let's count the castanets. That's going to be our big 30 to 60 range, and let's solve the rest of this module. So let's have a listen, and I'm going to be doing a lot of counting. So let's take a listen. Wait for top right to occur for the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 9, 30, 30. It might be 30. It might actually be 30. Because if we take a look here, if it's just 30, let's take a look at the factors. The 4 and the 6 are both 2. They both have factors of 2. It shares factors with at least 2 of the other 4 frequencies. So in this case, it would share factors of 4 and 6. Therefore, I believe this is a 30, considering how fast the loop is actually going. So let's hit it.
Is an acceptable
And just like
answer.
that
That's
is
absolutely brilliant.
a solved module. So as you can see, that 30 is rather quite small portion, and that's why I would advise getting some of the smaller loops, which gives the bigger portions on the module in order to determine the correct answer for this. So that's all there is for that module. It is very tricky, as you can see, but once you find the loop, it will become a lot easier. That was a very short loop, though, I will admit. That was a very quick loop, and I was kind of surprised at how fast it can be. I'm actually quite curious how long it was. It does say that in the logging. So let's have a look, and then we'll take a look at one more example, because I'm quite confident with this module. But one of the things I would recommend doing is taking your time with this module. If you're not sure about something, absolutely go back and look. Obviously, you might not be you might be in a rush. But yeah, that was an 11-second loop. I've had loops that can be 28 seconds. I've had loops that can be 17 seconds. It can be all over the place. I'm not exactly sure what the entire range is, but I'm imagining it's within the 10 to 30 sort of range. I wouldn't put it past Speaking Evil to do that. Overall, very simple module to do. Therefore, we are good to go. So now let's have a look at one more example. Let's see if we can get something nice, and that's going to be that, really. It's just breaking apart the module. Once you find a loop, focus on one of the smaller occurring sounds that actually occur, so that it's easier to keep track of when the loop begins. So, okay, so on this module, we're going to have clap, we're going to have the triangle, we're going to have glass tap, which is going to be a bit interesting, and we're going to have tambourine, and we're going to have castanets again. Let's have a listen. Okay, that sound that's occurring the most is the tambourine. That one's definitely the tambourine for sure. And the clap is that sort of it's that clap that you'd hear on I can make your hands clap. That's a good way to think about it. It's like make your hand clap. It's almost like that sound effect basically. That's going to be the way that you're going to hear things. Now with the glass tap, it's that sort of high pitched note. It's like that. Right there, that note. Yeah, that's going to be that. And then triangle we've heard before. We've heard castanets. We have not heard the tambourine. We've heard the glass tap. We've heard the clap. So now let's get into the module. Let's figure out what exactly is happening here. Triangle appears to be occurring less. I'm going to focus on triangle. Actually, glass tap appears to be occurring less, I think. That was it right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, believe it's 4. Yep, it is. Okay, cool. So which corner does the loop occur? Might be top right. Bottom right, I think. Yeah, bottom right corner. Okay, cool. Now, we now know when the loop begins. In this case, for the yellow, it's the bottom right corner. So therefore, that's where we can start figuring out the rest of this module here. So, let's do triangle next. That one I didn't hear as often. Same thing with clap. That one seems pretty easy to get. Let's have a listen. And let's actually do clap first. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9. Okay. So it's 9. That's for clap. Bada bing, bada boom. That's good to go. Let's wait for the next loop to come back around. We'll take a look at triangle this time around. We'll definitely take a look at triangle for sure. Okay. Let's have a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's 7. That's for triangle. That's the sort of green color. That's good to go. Perfect. All right, let's have a listen to castanets, and then we'll hit tambourine, and then we'll get out of here. Top right corner to come around. That's so good. 1, 2, 3. I might have counted wrong. I think I missed one. It's occurring a little bit faster than I expected it to. Okay, so wait for it to come back around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'd probably messed up somewhere. I'm gonna get tambourine taken care of real quick, actually. That one's a bit hard to hear sometimes. That's a little bit quiet, and it's a little bit annoying. But we can figure it out, I'm confident. So let's do tambourine. I'm gonna do that one first. Let's wait for the top right to come, bottom right to come back around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. 59, I want to say. That's not right. It might be 60. I wouldn't put it past being a 60. It's a bit high. I counted 59. That's a prime number. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 60. Might be 58 instead, actually.
It's hugely
No, it's
frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, I was right. I don't know why I second guessed myself. Okay. We're just gonna ignore that strike. But yeah, that is definitely a solid 60 right there. And let's try and figure out our castanets. Let's wait for the bottom right to come around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It might be 10 actually. 10 would make sense. 10 would make sense because of the fact that it shares a factor with 4. So let's say 10.
That is
And just like
absolutely
that
right.
is a solved module. Yeah, sorry about that little strike. Hope you guys understand that. It's a little bit tricky. I heard 59 and I knew it was 60 for some reason, but I second guessed myself and decided to go 58 for some reason without even checking. So, but that's all there really is to this module. It is very tricky to get good at it, but it is not impossible to get good at it, as you can see. If you simply follow along with the way that I do this thing, and you understand that the loop and the way that the buttons work, they're actually there to help you, which is quite nice. So use that to your advantage. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.